farther away. No, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is, I don't wanna push you farther away. No, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is, are you down for love? Are you up for someone to be together, be together? Babe, I want your love. I'll be the one you trust. You're all that matters, all that matters. I got feelings about you. Oh yeah, butterflies every time I'm with you. Oh yeah. I don't wanna push you farther away. No, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is, I don't wanna push you farther away. No, I don't wanna play no games. I just wanna call, see if we're okay, babe. All I wanna ask you is, are you down for love? Are you up for someone to be together, be together? Babe, I want your love. I'll be the one you trust. You're all that matters, all that matters. Are you down for love? Are you up for someone to be together, be I wanna be Babe, I want your love, your love. I'll be the one you trust. You're all that matters, all that matters to me. Issues, I know I got issues. Hate you, then I miss you again. Selfish, I can be so selfish. Spend more time when meeting your friends. Please forgive my attitude. I want my cake and eat it too. But a little grace would be enough for me to prove that, baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see, bringing out the best in me. Yeah, I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it, working out my issues with you, with you. Crutches, I be holding crutches, can't let go of any mistakes. Distant, sometimes I get distant, stay away as long as it takes. Please forgive my attitude. I need my cake and eat it too. But a little time will be enough for me to prove that, baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I can finally see, bringing out the best in me. Yeah, I don't want no problems, but I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not to believe you can. Cause baby, you the remedy. You're my mirror, I could finally see it, bringing out the best in me, yeah. I don't want these problems, I know I got a lot of work to do. Baby, I'm not perfect, but I know I'm worth it, working out my issues with you, with you. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. I believe in you, me, you, me, you, me, you, me, yeah. Let's stay here for a lifetime underneath the moonlight. Cause I don't want us to go. No, I don't want us to go. Yeah, you could be my lifeline, you could be my sunshine. In a world so full of pain, can you make it go away? Used to be so sad that love was lost, but now it's here to stay. Yeah, I used to be uncomfortable, but look at me today. Never thought I'd find someone like you, someone to show the way. But now I know you're the answer to my prayer. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I'm sorry for the burden, sorry I was hurting, but my scars are almost healed. Yeah, my scars are almost healed. Yeah, I'm feeling like a child now. Everything's alright now, and it's all because of you. You made the flower in me bloom. Used to be afraid of everything, but now there's no more fear. Yeah, I used to let nobody in and hide my face with tears. But we thought of you as someone who can love someone like me. But I was wrong, baby, now I believe. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. You and me must be right. Something's in the air, I can feel it now. You and me must do something right. We can't get enough of us. You and me every night, aiming for the stars with the love so bright. You and me must do something right. Baby, I believe in us. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. I believe in you and me, you and me, you and me, you and me, yeah. You know it's creeping up on me. This frostbite gets deep into my blood. not my fault. You've been lying, saying that I took away your peace. Drowning by yourself, now you wanna blame me. Like you have no options. I ain't take your options. Nah, I'm not the problem. Man, that's on you, yeah. You've been terrorizing me, yeah, I'm always wrong.
Welcome, everybody.
You lost your mind when you dropped that bomb.
Another episode of White
Girl,
School.
Are you crazy? Yeah, you must be crazy.
Yes, we ready.
I've been thinking lately it's you. You stole your peace, put it on me, but baby, it's you. Lying like a rat, but take your stuff back, baby, it's you.
Microphone check 1, 2.
Baby, it's you.
Baby, it's you. Everybody type salute in the chat. What up, Peter Investor? Hey, TTT.
What did you think?
What did you think, girl?
You could say whatever.
Type salute in the chat, little Miss Golden. Type salute in the chat, Miss Parker.
You've been flexing
So glad to see you.
Girl,
What up, Steven?
Look in the mirror. Man, you so dirty. Yeah, you look so dirty. You were never.
Little Miss Golden said she found out about this because her big bro, Cassius, is over on husband school.
You stole your peace.
Now she's coming over to wife school.
On me, but baby, it's you.
It's good to have you here, Little Miss Golden. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. My man, Professor Sir Hale, is in the back. He's in the green room eating M&M's.
Control the weather, then every day would rain on your parade. Shine you can't chase, yeah. If I was Father Time, then I would change the day. So I never saw your face.
Y'all know I can sing. Getting everybody together. Question tonight, lady.
Baby, it's you.
Tell the truth. I got the coldest playlist on YouTube. All of my shows, best music. Nobody can touch me when it comes to the music. Y'all better tell the truth. Tell the truth. And we are live. Cameras are up. Welcome everybody to another episode of Wife School. I'm so glad you guys are here. Students, please sit down in class. Have a seat. The lecture is about to begin. You have now entered the main lecture hall in the Department of Hard Knocks at the University of Shannon. Rawls, please have a seat. Take out a pen and paper. Prepare to take notes. You know I'm gonna memorize this eventually. I just gotta keep saying it. Just keep saying it. Just keep saying it. There's a lot to learn. Somebody's detected at my studio camera downtown. I wonder who's there. Nobody. None of my employees are there. I'm not there. My name is Professor Shannon. I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleagues of the night. It's 6 of us, I believe. So let's hit that right there. And everybody pulls up. What's up, everybody?
Hey.
Don't everybody
Hello.
speak your voice.
Happy Thursday.
Well, Marvy got the studio lighting set up. She's trying to be all dramatic with it tonight. Got the black coming with the black turtleneck. Okay. Professor Tamiko, it's good to meet you. I mean, good to have you here again. Professor Aisha, good to have you. Hey, Professor Cheryl. Professor Marvy, good to have you back. and my man, Professor Sir Hale. You guys had a good week so far?
Yes.
Give me the highlights. Anybody had any great? We want to hear the great news before we jump in. No highlights? Nobody did anything spectacular this past weekend? Nobody bought anything? Nobody got a raise? Nobody made $10,000 unexpectedly?
Yes to the first one, yes to the last one, and did a dope collab just recently. So y'all be looking at a dope collab that's coming real soon, and so it's been a really good week, really good
Okay,
week.
all I paid attention to was that he got $10,000. Did everybody catch that like I did?
Yes, I did. Yes,
He was like, yes to the first one. I don't even know what the first one was. All I know is that he said, I made a quick 10 stacks, and I didn't even expect it coming, Shan. What's the collab about, Sir Hill?
Same about relationships, some really good, some creators that a lot of people know about. Really good stuff. So really happy we did that just today, and it's really good. I'm excited about that one.
That's what's up, man. I want everybody, please, if you guys are watching the show, if you are watching the show live, or if you're watching the show on replay, you'll notice that I have my little automatic system putting Sir Hale's name in the chat. I think I have it set for every 5 minutes. When you see Sir Hale's name in there, I need you to click it and go to his page and subscribe. It's just that simple. The system it's already there. The moderators may put it in as well, but I also have it automatically showing up so you guys can have so you guys can see the stuff that Professor Sir Hale talks about on this channel. It is phenomenal, and if you like what you hear over here, imagine when you tune into him at his channel. I appreciate you guys being here, man. So for those that don't know, Wife School is a podcast, and I explain this every show. Wife School is a podcast that is answering questions that a lot of people have, but don't know where to get the answers from. So in the dating and mating spaces, particularly in the Black community, but really across the board, people are complaining. Men are complaining that women don't know how or want to be a wife. They want to be married, but they don't want to be wives. And then women are complaining that men want to be married, but he doesn't know how to be a husband. He doesn't even know the things it takes to successfully lead a household. So we have husband school on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we have wife school on Thursdays tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific. And I have my esteemed professors. I went out and I found the best people I could find. There was people that asked to be on the show, but they're not better than the people that I have on the show. And it's just my personal opinion. And me being twice married, twice divorced, 50 years old, and been around the world, I kind of know a few things, and I know good judges of character. And so to the people that asked to be on the show, I appreciate your interest, but the professors that I have right now are the best of the best. And what it is these people come from different perspectives. Some of us are married. Some of us are single. Some of us are divorced. Some of us are newly married. Some of us are older. Some of us are younger. We're giving you different perspectives on dating and mating so you can have the best outcome. In America, the divorce rate, I think, is at 53%. In the Black community, is at 61%. So basically, half of us, for everybody that's getting married, half of them are getting a divorce eventually. They're not gonna make it. It just is what it is. And so what we're trying to do over on this show is mitigate that problem by forcing people to think and to be able to have conversations with their fiance that we didn't have years ago. And so I'm glad you guys are here tonight. I have a wonderful question for everybody. Let me pull it up on the screen and we could jump right into it. We tend to talk long, but this is a 1-hour show, and I want everybody to get their perspectives in. And let me push this up on the screen. Come over here, double click this, paste, boom. And the question of the night, ladies and gentlemen, ladies particularly, because this is a women's channel. This is a woman's show. The Wife School is for women by women. The reason that me and Sir Hale is here is because we simply give the male perspectives, but the women are really speaking to the women that's watching the show. And it's the same thing we do over on Husband School. It's a men's show by men for men. We have women on that panel, just two, and they just give the female perspective, but it's really men talking to men. And so the ladies are here, Professor Tamiko and Aisha and Cheryl and Marvy, to give the game to the young ladies who may not have the best guidance at home. Come on over here to Wife School. We'll give you the game. The question of the night, right, is the corny guy. You seen the picture I put up, the cover art. Ladies, you know the corny guy is best for you, but you love that thug. You love that thug. You love Pookie. Pookie gets all the goods. Pookie gets you in your young formative years. He gets you when you fresh, I guess, if you want to say. You know, he gets you when you are excited and got a lot of energy, and you just, you know, you don't want to just sit down and relax. You know, like me, I'm 50 years old. I want to relax now. I want to relax. I don't want to party. I don't want to go. I decline all the club invites. I don't want to go out. I don't want to hit the scene. I don't want to be in VIP. I don't want to valet. I'd rather stay home and watch TV, right? But 20 years ago, and for me, 30 years ago, when I was 20 years old, I wanted to be in the scene. Those are my formative years. That's just what that was. Well, the thing is, ladies, you know that good guy is best for you, but you don't pick that good guy in your formative years. Why is it that you know the corny guy who's best for you? Y'all were in college. I went to college with Professor Tamiko. I know where Professor Aisha went. Y'all know. You guys ignored the good guys. Now, maybe not you particularly. I'm speaking through you to the vast majority of people in our community that's single, really. And I want you to talk to the young ladies about it. Maybe give some examples. Maybe explain how you did it when you were 20. You gave the good guy the cold shoulder and gave that bad boy all the attention. And is that working? Do you wish? Is that true? Am I capping? Do I know what I'm talking about? Am I tripping? Let me know. If I'm accurate, then why is that? I'd like to hear you guys' perspective. Why do women ignore the corny guy that she knows is best for him and love the thug? Why is that? I could point you all out.
To say.
I know you do, Professor Aisha.
I have a lot to say about it, but I'm not going to say a lot right now. I think, though, sometimes experience matters, right? So we can say all the time, like, oh, why did you choose the thug over the corny guy? You don't really know what's best for you until you have an experience. Sometimes, like, even growing up, you know, your parents can give you same lesson over and over and over again, but you really don't learn it until you go through the experience. So I think maybe that's why, you know, people choose the bad guy for the experience.
Well, what did you do?
Experience.
What did you do?
What did I do?
Yeah, let's talk about Professor Aisha between the age of 19 and 24. Oh, you thinking about that dude? You thinking of his name? He just popped in your head. 19 to 24.
So I think, like, what I did is not the advice that I would give another 19 to 24-year-old.
You was messing with the bros. Like, you should have been messing with the nukes.
Like, it's just not. You know, I think if we're looking at it, I'm just not going to give the same advice. I was in college. I had a lot of fun. But I think when it comes to new learning experiences, sometimes you don't know where you're going to find those learning experiences. Sometimes you don't have the street smarts. And so when you're learning something so new, you're becoming more aware of your surroundings and new environments. You're learning this from this thug guy who just has a lot of different knowledge than you had. You know what I mean? You're learning things about yourself.
Wait. So you're learning from the thug? Pookie's giving you game?
Yeah, what is it? I mean, yeah, there's something to learn.
What is Ray Ray?
Doesn't mean
What
that
game
you're
is Ray Ray?
young.
What game is Ray Ray teaching you?
I don't know what game Ray Ray is teaching me, but you know, like I can tell you, like, my first time in a shooting range was probably like with a thug, I guess, you know, like, and that's a life skill. That's an important life skill that, you know, if it's not introduced to you or you've never experienced it or you're not around it, you would have not gotten that skill. Does that make sense? Like, you can learn different things that, aren't, oh, this is not good, but why is self-defense not good? Why is learning how to be aware of your surroundings and paying attention to the things that are happening around you not good? Those are life skills that, I wasn't hanging out past the street lights when I was a teenager. So there are things that I never seen or experienced. My older siblings, I remember when I got a little bit older, they were both like, oh yeah, we just protected you from everything that was going on. They're a lot older than me. They experienced a lot of different life, a lot of different life things, and kept me in the dark about it. So, some of my first times experiencing stuff, it was learning it from guy friends that I had met that wasn't necessarily my classmates.
Okay. All right. I got questions. Anybody else? The ladies are listening. They're curious because they like, the young girls are on campus right now, and some of them dudes don't even go to college. They don't even go. They just go to the parties. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They don't even go to. They're not even enrolled at that school, but they live in the neighborhood. They around the corner. They come to the parties. They kick it. They hang out at the right time on campus, right at the University Student Union. They know everybody. It's a melting pot at the nightclub. The guys are at the club, and the girls are attracted to those tattoos. They're attracted to that broken English. They're attracted to that Gucci belt, that Dodge Charger. They're attracted to the face tattoos, the neck tattoos. They like that. All
Shannon,
while the other guy that's studying, huh?
I don't know if I agree with that completely. My dad was what you would call like a corny guy. And so that's kind of been
your dad?
My dad.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
And so that's kind of like, I may have dated maybe in high school. I probably dated one or two that would be considered like, that most of the guys I dated were they had, but at the same time, I also was attracted to a man who was like masculine, that could tap into his masculinity. Like I felt safe when I was with him, or felt.
Let me write these points down. Safety. Okay.
I felt that he could take charge. He could be like a leader. Like he could make his own decisions. Those things were some of the points, things that I was attracted to. But I was attracted to like the corny guy.
Did you feel safe with the corny guy?
For the most part, yeah. I think, yeah, well, one in particular, I would say no, but, so then yes, yes. Yeah. I mean, that was just the thing, like, feeling like, I was safe around somebody, like in certain situations, being out, someone who wasn't scared to use their voice,
But now let me be clear. Are you describing the bad boy right now? Or are you describing
the corny
you describing the corny guy? Okay. All right, because
so,
everything that you're saying to me, it sounds like you're describing the bad boy, because the corny guy is the guy that's typically reserved. He's not very outspoken. He's more of an introvert. He keeps his head low. He's not in the fast scene. He's not out and about. He kind of, he's studying. And so the masculinity, maybe when you mention masculine and speaking for himself, I'm seeing that from the hood dude.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, a corny guy can be masculine too. Like, he can use his voice. He can take charge. He can be a leader. He can make you feel protected and safe. So I think just, having a guy that, could make me laugh, that I could be friends with, that I could relate to, that I could do fun things with, that was what was important to me.
Did you date these guys?
Yeah.
Did you date them first?
Yes. Yeah. There was one guy in high school that I would say was like, a little rough around the edges, but I can't think of in my adult life dating anybody that was not like the corny guy.
Question: You mentioned your father, and this is I'll come back to this once we do a round, but I just want to touch on this real quick before I lose the thought. You mentioned your father. You grew up with your father your entire life. Your entire childhood.
My dad, who I call my father, is my stepdad, and my mom, and met him when I was like 5. So
yes. For all intents and purposes, he's pops.
Yeah.
So you had a dad in your life. Did you run all these boys through him?
No, but teenager, no. But as an adult, yeah, because my dad was like my best friend. So he heard all the stories and he knew about everybody.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to a question because I want to know why in your adulthood was he privy to the information of your dating life, but when you were younger he wasn't. We'll come back to that though. Professor Marvy, why do you think corny guys are ignored and the bad boy, Ray, Man, Lil D-Rock up the street, doing, the dude with his standing around all day with his bare chest, why he get all the girls?
Image. How can I put this? Well, every girl has an image of the guy that she wants to be. And we all have a good boy, bad boy image. But we all want to see what that bad boy experience is like. So we're attracted to the bad boy. And when we're attracted to them, we're young and, our fundamentals are not set into place, so to speak. So, we just going after the thrill, we'll look good together kind of thing. So we go after the thrill with the bad boy.
Okay. Tamiko, why the bros and not the alphas?
Oh my gosh.
Why the bros?
I'm a little different. Give me the nerdy dude. I don't like the word corny, but I like the nerd, super smart. He knows how to, he's, but in the evening or later, he knows how to get down if he has to, right? Or
what does that mean? Wait, hold on. What does that mean?
Oh, okay.
We all grown here. What is that in the evening when he has to get down?
Okay, not just that.
It doesn't have to be sexual, but I just want to be clear as to what you mean by what does he have to get? What do you mean by he has to know how to get down?
Okay. So just to extend that, not just that sexually, but he has to know how to have my back. I want to feel protected. If somebody's coming at me crazy, I want my man to be able to step in, and a nerd can do that as well. I guess let me just give a little background. I'm from Chicago, right? So I got that Southside Chicago. I grew up. The gang was 2 blocks away from me, and but I went to a magnet school, so I hung with nerd, super smart, thuggish dudes. That was attractive to me. In school, they had their head in the books. But if we went out, they also knew I have my back as well, and I felt protected. So I guess a mix. I wouldn't say corny or thug. That's just my experience.
Okay, so
give me the nerd. Give me the nerd. I will take it. Yeah.
Now, are you saying that now? See, and this is another thing. And this is and ladies out there, the whole purpose of this show is to give you perspectives from women with experience and wisdom, right? Wisdom requires time and service, period. There's no way around it, right? And in order to, in the game that you're getting from these ladies, they've been there where you're getting ready to go or where you currently are. They already know. And so when you hear these answers, Tamiko says she wants the nerd, the question I have for Tamiko is, was it always that way? And or is it more fortified now that you know better?
like I said, for me, I think it started a little bit earlier. Yeah, I like that mix. I always was attracted to. Okay, let me clarify. No, I mean, nerd. Are we talking about the dude that picture you had, right? He goofy glasses and all of that.
Yeah. Yes, him. Him. No swag. No
Okay,
swag. No, he did not wear J's. You know what I'm saying? He did not wear Guess. He didn't rock none of the no name brand stuff. He wasn't physically fit. He didn't play no sports. You know what I'm
so
saying? He was real good in science though. Him.
I would be friends with that dude. Like I would be friends with that dude.
Oh,
But
so he's
now would I
friend
hang
zoned.
out with him?
He's
No.
friend zoned. Okay.
Yes, I would have friend zoned him because I knew in the future that's the one that's gonna, you know what I mean? Like he's going
Uh-oh.
somewhere with his life.
Sir,
Again, that's me at years old. That's at
Sir Hale gonna
16.
eat that up. But go ahead.
I know. But Ed, that's me at 16. That's what we're going back to when I was, yeah, at that age. Now, yes, like obviously I wouldn't. That's not the only thing that I would would disregard somebody on if they look this way or that way. But yes, going back to when I was younger, yeah, I needed that little bit of mix. You couldn't be completely nerded out. It had to be a balance. It had to be a little bit of had swag, super smart, but could still be thug, if that makes sense.
Okay. Professor Happy, you're in Chicago currently. You born and raised?
I'm not born and raised in Chicago, but I was raised here since I was from like 2 to 16. I was here, and
You
then from
Chicago. You
like
you
in
Chicago through and
Chicago.
through.
Yeah, I've been in Chicago, and then I've been back since I was like 25. So then, like from 16 to 25, I was like here on and off, and then I've been here since for like the past 7 years.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
so I don't know Chicago street life. I know the GDs. I know this block, old block. I hear the stuff I hear that we all hear when we ain't from Chicago, right? What is it about those guys that women? Because one of our movie of the week movies was Chirac, right? And I had never watched it. I think it's really one
Never
of
seen
Spike Lee's
it
worst.
and not interested, so I don't even know. I got no
I think it's one
context.
of his worst movies.
That was terrible.
But when I watched it, but the premise was nice. I think it was poorly filmed, but I think the premise was decent. It was about withholding sex from men so they could stop killing each other and gang banging and the whole nine around that. The thing is, in relation to the question that we have tonight, Professor Happy, what is it about the young guys today? When you think of drill music, when you think of King Von, when you think of all it, when you think of Dirk, why is it that those guys are the guys that the young ladies want? It happened. It's happening now. It happened 5 years ago. It happened 10 years ago. It happened 20 years ago. Why are the young ladies in Chicago attracted to the guy like that as opposed to the guy who's on the straight and narrow, up and up, straight up square?
Well, there's a couple reasons. So the first reason, the most obvious reason, is what's culturally popular. You know what I'm saying? So in our culture, in hip hop culture, that image, the same way that the thought or the hoe is prevalent for the woman image, the masculine image is the thug in hip hop culture. So we talking about hip hop culture. We talking about outward people, African Americans, specifically in Chicago. Drill music came from Chicago. So we really talking about thugs. We really talking about guys that really are killing people. And I'm not being funny. I do a lot of work in it with the gun violence, and this is not. I'm really not trying to be funny, but the pervasive culture is drill music. It is hip hop music, and the reason why Kanye is always talking about 808 beats is because it also is the music with the 808 sound in it,
Okay.
and that sound is so if we really go there, that sound goes straight to your lower chakras, your sacral chakras actually. But if you are mixing that sound with violence, with the talk of violence, which is what we actually go through here, what these young men that are rapping, some of them actually go through. Um, then you get a lot of, you mix violence with sex. That's what happens. So now you are touching the lower chakra with violence. And so that's one reason. Well, a lot of young women are actually, they don't even realize why they are attracted to that kind of person, why they are attracted to that kind of man. And it
Wake it up.
actually from the culture. It actually comes from the music that we listen to and the music that our culture makes popular. That's one reason. Another reason why, and this is on a, this kind of is an extension of that, is that, and I've heard a couple, I haven't heard everything that everyone said, but I heard a couple points that a couple of women have made already on the panel. And one of the biggest things is the feeling of protection. So because there is so much violence in these streets, a lot of, and just in general, I think our society, our culture, especially the younger people, we live in survival mode and we don't even realize it. And what that does is, especially for a woman, is it makes her need safety. It makes her look for safety. It makes her look for protection. And so those street dudes are the ones that's going to actually make you feel protected. Whether they're
Really?
actually providing real protection or not is a whole nother story. But the feeling of protection is going to be there, and you're going to gravitate toward that guy that does have a little more of that street acumen, that does make you feel a little more protected in less than safe environments. So I think there's a lot of reasons why, but personally, I've always looked for the thug articulate type myself,
Okay.
because
Tupac.
I like Tupac all day, he was a little too skinny for me personally, but you know what I'm saying? Tupac was my boy, I would have went, I would have been friends, Tupac and I. And I suggest all women look for someone with a little bit of both in them, a little less thug than Tupac, maybe, because you see how that ended. But I definitely think the street acumen is important. It's dependent on your environment. And a lot of young African American girls live in survival mode. And I don't even think that sometimes they even realize that they are living in survival mode.
But
But
are
it's
they in jeopardy? Are they in danger? I mean, because I get what you're saying. Perception is everything. I learned that in retail. Perception. It doesn't matter. Like like I'm a fashion designer, right? And I watch people buy clothes that I'd be like, damn, you don't. If only you knew. Kenneth Cole is making that T-shirt on the floor above mine. He's making that T-shirt for $6. My T-shirt's better than his, but Kenneth is selling it for $150, and my shirt goes for $25. The reality is Kenneth Cole has a perception. So I understand perception, and the perception of safety from that guy is there. But is it real safety? Aren't you in more danger hanging with him?
sometimes you are, sometimes you aren't. It really depends on your
It depends on where
circumstances.
you are. Hmm.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. It depends on who you are. It depends on who you mess with. It depends on what you do, where you got to go to do what you do. There's so many different things that go into whether you're actually being protected or not. But specifically in a city like Chicago, these younger girls that are living where you say that you get your ideas of Chicago from, and
Mm-hmm.
while not all of it is true, there's a lot of truth in a lot of it. The old block, that's real life. That's not for play. It's not fake. I mean, you can drive past old block and not be killed, but in reality, there are young people walking around with guns, and they will shoot you. Okay, and they don't care if you're their intended target or not. They will shoot. These young guys out here in Chicago. I don't care what the media is telling you. I'm gonna tell you from my mouth. These guys are dangerous. They're dangerous. And if you are in that environment, especially as a woman, a lot of these young girls connect themselves to guys simply for protection. It's true.
Hmm.
But really,
10 years
that's
ago, Happy. 10 years ago, Happy. 10 years ago, when you were 21, were you attracted to him too? Tell the truth.
like I said, I'm gonna tell you the truth because I was raised here. So this whole culture of this city is embedded in who I am. I've always liked the both. Like my first love was a real good mix of both. He was Yeah, he was a good mix of both. He was like top five in our class and or his class, and he was also the one supplying all the stuff. Anyway, so what had happened? What happened was that to this day he's a businessman, so he but he still got that little street in him. It is important to have protection, and I think specifically with me, there's been times in my life where I have specifically dated for safety. I kid you not. I have specifically dated for the actual reason that the man that I was dating was a protector. And I needed at certain points in my life to feel safe. I needed to feel safe, whether I was or not, whether it was actual protection or not. I needed to know that there was somebody else there that was as concerned for and that would act on my safety like I would or like I needed, you know?
Okay, Professor Hale. So the overreaching understanding is protection. Professor Cheryl said it. Professor Tomiko said it. Professor Happy said it. Professor Marvey kind of gave a little bit of psychology on it. Professor Aisha gave some psychology and some college thinking. Professor Hale, can you explain your thoughts on this protection thing that women get when they date guys who seemingly are headed to prison? And can you touch on the whole friend zone the nerd that Professor Tomiko said? Because she knew he'd be there later on in life.
It's a mix, right? Same thing what Happy said.
Well, it's been a pleasure hearing you ladies talk about some great things tonight. But of course, this is the phase where we introduce the camp that we're talking about, ladies. The reason why ladies date these kind of dudes is because ladies be just as bad as the dudes that they're with. Like, so I grew up in Illinois as well. Chicago Heights, take Austin down. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you're from Illinois, right? And a lot of the ladies are just as bad as the dudes. Like I hear it a lot. We talk about violent men, but a lot of them girls are the same way, and they instigate a lot of stuff as well. So I think it's not just because of protection. I think people date a reflection of themselves. And whether or not we want to just put this on the guys, I think that's unfair. A lot of the ladies who date these guys know. Because if it wasn't true, then those girls, now Happy, you're going to know. Out there in University Park, out there in Park Forest, out there in Homewood, they still date the same guys, and they're not in the same situation, right? So to me, they date based off of who they are. If they date a thug, it's because you a thug kind of sister, and that's what you qualify for. So that's the first thing. The other part about the friend zone part,
I disagree.
Please.
I disagree with that.
Respectfully, but I disagree. It's not always true.
No,
all right,
because
land your second point, Sir Hale, and then come back because they got some. They want to explain. They're gonna give you the women's perspective.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm ready for this one. All right. So, and then when it comes to the friend zone, I think that the guys are friend zone because deep down you know that's the guy you're supposed to be with, and so you want to get the bad out first, and then once you're done with that, or you aged out of being bad, then we put the good guy on reserve. I think that happens in a lot of different cases, and we see it all too often in this modern culture.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that in my closing arguments. But let's get back to what Sir Hale had said. Ladies, you guys, you wasn't feeling what he was. Remember now, this is what guys are thinking, and he's basically saying, look, women are some badasses too. It ain't, and I'm looking for a clip because I did a reaction on the video of a woman that was speaking on, and I'm gonna find it while you guys talk. On this woman where a woman was speaking on half the murders is typically over a woman running her mouth and saying something, and then next thing you know she puts a battery in a guy's back, and now both dudes is dead, and then she goes on to another dude. But go ahead, ladies. What part of Sir Hill message do you guys not agree with?
I believe that opposites attract. I don't technically agree with Sir Hill or Professor Hill saying that, you're attractive who you are. Because a lot of times the good girl wants the bad guy. A lot of times she wants to have a thrill. A lot of times, she wants something different. She wants to see what it is on the, unsafe side. Like she doesn't want to play it safe anymore. And even sometimes when you play it safe with a nerd guy, you can still get your heart broke. He can still be a gamer. Just because, he's a nerd and he doesn't have style doesn't mean that he's not, swift with his words. Doesn't mean he doesn't have, a taste in, multiple women. He can still break your heart. So a lot of times, like I believe that the good girl, like, is attracted to the other side, so to speak, because she wants something different. She wants to take a step on the wild side to see, well, shit, if I'm on this side and I'm still, getting treated like this or feel like this, then, how bad can this guy do me? So, my opinion.
I I agree. I agree that opposites attract, but I think more that like also an extension of that is that we look for what we think we need in a partner. So number one, what I haven't heard too is the chemistry. I'm not just dating a thug guy. Like I don't just go to the thug club and look for a thug. I look for the guy that I have chemistry with. Like I'm attracted to and date the men that I have chemistry with. And oftentimes what is like the catalyst for that chemistry in that scenario where it's like the guy that's, and when I think thug, what I honestly think, I don't know what your guys' context is, but like I just think of a man that lives by the street life. Like they make
That's
their
what I
money
was
in the
gonna say.
live in the
Yeah.
street,
Yeah.
that's their environment is the streets. So oftentimes like they do have a sense of provision about them. A lot of thugs are hustlers. They got money. So a younger woman, they're thinking about what they need. I want the dude with some money. I also want the dude that takes care of himself. A lot of the cool thugs, the ones that have been doing it for a while, they take care of themselves. They smell nice. They dress nice because they have the money. They also, like I said earlier, whether they provide true protection or not, they provide the idea of protection because like who was that, Aisha, you said somebody who took you to the gun range, sis? Somebody didn't took you
Yeah,
to
that
the
was
gun
me.
range because they're gonna have some equipment on them. So I think that what happens is
He
when
had a
young girls,
college degree too, y'all. I just want to throw that out there. He wasn't just.
at this point, we should all have something to protect our homes and selves, whether you got a college degree or not. America is Americaing, and so that's that. But the street guy is going to go about how he presents himself in a little bit of a different way because of how he has to present himself in the streets that he lives in. And to the young girl who's needing or looking for what they think they need that money. They think they need that protection and they want the swag of that man. And what happens with the nerd oftentimes is he doesn't have that lived experience that gives him the same swag that the thug has. So and as we get older, though, we understand the difference between what we think we need and what we think we want and what we actually need and actually want. And that's when the desire or, our taste may change because we realize that that is a false sense of protection. Actually living in survival mode, it makes you feel like you need to be protected in ways that you're not actually protecting yourself. You're doing more harm than good oftentimes, but in that mode you can't see that. So it takes actually you getting out of that survival mode and having the ability to see past that. And a lot of people just need to be pulled out of that. You got to pull yourself out of it.
So, ladies, what part did you disagree with? So, like, I'm hearing what you guys are saying, but you guys are saying effectively what I believe as well. Like at that moment, that's who you are. Once you transform who you are, you no longer want that because you've grown that. And I want to mention a point that you guys brought up about opposites attract. I agree with that. I do agree that opposites do attract, which is why a lot of nerds will want certain type of women. Opposites attract, but we accept what we are. So when you actually stop and get into a relationship with somebody, you accept that because that is who you are, at least at that moment.
Now that part I agree with, but I don't. But the way that you framed it the first time you said it was that these women be messy, so they get with messy dudes. It's not always about two messy people just trying to be together. I'm not attracted to him because he's messy. I'm attracted to him because of what he has that I thought or that I'm under the impression is my need. You get what I'm saying? I don't see it now. You're absolutely right. We attract what we are. It's facts. However, when you're young, you don't see it that way, and you aren't actually. When I was young, dating a 50-some-year-old thug child, that wasn't me. I'm not a 50-year-old thug, okay? I was a younger girl that was looking for a certain thing. You understand? Like, now, I was definitely just like him in survival mode. So that was me attracting what I was. We were both in survival mode, straight up. However, what he is and what I am, I never even came into the situation trying to be what he was, baby. Not even a little bit.
I want to say, like, when you say opposites attract, like my friends were my opposites, and so a lot of them dated thugs, and I want to say that I observed too, like, you know, their relationships or their interactions, and it wasn't appealing to me. I wanted to do things. I enjoyed certain types of things, and I don't think that those were things that, you know, I guess those type of guys were interested in. So,
well, if you're the anomaly, Professor Cheryl, and these were your friends, why did they? Since you were able since you didn't want what they wanted, when you looked at it, did you ever ask yourself, why do those girls like those dudes?
I want to say, you know, no, I don't think I did really. You know, we just had different tastes. You know, we had different tastes in men, and so you know, the guy that I dated in high school, that was because he was, you know, a good friend of someone that one of my friends was dating, and it just, you know, and that didn't last or didn't work out, so it was just not appealing to me. You know, I like doing certain things that I guess were not really things that thugs do. I don't know.
Got it. You know, thinking of the whole safety thing, and I guess maybe it's in back to the perception of safety. You know, like what you guys are saying is you guys want a hybrid. You know, you want a battery operated guy. You also want a gasoline operated. You know, you want to use the power when you need it, but otherwise, you generally, you know, cruising on electricity and shit, right? But you want to step on the gas if necessary. And I think that trait is in a lot of men. And so when you think about the whole safety thing, and I get it, but maybe if you grew up if you're in an impoverished area, or you're in an area where there's a lot of crime or whatnot, and you need to be able to walk down the street without getting, you know, accosted by fucking strangers and shit. You know, niggas hanging out at the corner liquor store, and that's the only way to get to your house is to go past that liquor store every time. You don't want to go all the way around the block. But if you got that particular homie with you, you ain't gonna have no problems walking past that liquor store. But if you go with this guy, you know, the cornball dude, y'all both gonna get fucked with. I get it. I understand that. But then what happens later is what I think the purpose of this show should really illustrate to the women that's watching. See, how do you guys feel now? What is it? If you can do it all over again, would you still do the same thing? Would you still date the same type guys? Would you still hang out with girls who did date those same type guys? Would you pay attention to a guy who blossomed? Because when you think of, like, let's say, look at Urkel, right? Look at Urkel. Look what he grew up to. Now women want him all over. You know, men are you know, we call it grown man muscle, right? It doesn't matter. Like even if a young 18-year-old boy grew into he doesn't have his grown man muscle yet. That's why his daddy can still whoop his ass, even though he's maybe even taller than his father. So men grow into their grown man bodies. They grow into their grown man minds. They move a little bit more calculated. And so that when it comes to that protection side of the 4Ps, most men, even the nerd cornball dude that you guys remember back in high school, blossomed. Marvy, blossomed into somebody that you didn't probably expect that he would blossom into. Number one. Number two, oftentimes, and not for necessarily you ladies, but for many women, it's too late. That's where the whole "hey big head" comes in. It's like, oh, you hitting him up now. And this is where Tamiko, because see, it was Professor Tamiko that said, yeah, you know, if he was a little too corny, if he was a little too nerdy, if he didn't have any kind of swag, I'd be friends with him. But I know he'd be there later on. But what's happening is those guys are not there later on. Women were sold that these guys would be there waiting for them at the end of the rainbow. But them guys ain't there no more. And if they are still available, they're looking for the younger version of her. So what would you guys tell young women today, knowing what you know now? You see, now that there's social media, everybody got an Instagram page, and they everybody's tough. Everybody got gangsta Twitter fingers. Everybody's super loked out hard on the internet with super loked out profile pictures. And what would you tell young ladies that they're going to expect to see later on, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, potentially even 20 years from now, when she's ignoring that kind of nerdy dude or friend zoning that guy today? What is she going to experience tomorrow?
Well, for instance, I had a conversation with my daughter today, and she, met someone, and I just told her to, continue getting to know him, be friends. And, I think things just start to blossom on their own. If, you guys have that chemistry and attraction, then that's going to blossom on its own.
Were you able to give him a glance over?
No, I haven't met him yet. So I'm sure that's going to come soon. But just, it's just a matter of seeing if that chemistry is there and allowing it to, take its own course. So definitely, entertain it. I'm all for dating different types of people and seeing what connects the best with you, and seeing.
Yeah, but see, that's the problem. Don't you? You don't see a problem in that, Professor Cheryl? Like, dating all different kind of guys and connect with what's gonna, so here's the reality. Women don't like boring men. You don't like boring dudes. Boring is structured. Boring is routine. Boring is operating on a schedule. You guys want excitement. You want spontaneity. You want somebody. You want shit to happen. You want to not. You like thrill, right?
Boring
you gotta
is
get
subjective, fan.
Huh?
That's not. That's based on who a person is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm generalizing here.
Her from her friend's taste.
Say it again.
I said, like Cheryl just said, her taste was different from her homegirl's taste when she was growing up.
But it was. I'm assuming it was a lot of her homegirls, and it was more of those girls than it was of Cheryl. Cheryl was probably the anomaly, right?
I mean, I had friends that had my taste as well too. It was just exciting to hear all of the girls that were dating the thugs, like all their stories and
that's my point.
Everything that happened.
It's exciting. My whole statement is about excitement.
It was we didn't have social media back then, so that was my excitement for the day, listening to their stories. But it wasn't something that I was attracted to. It was just fun to watch or fun to listen to. But in the sense, I liked, just different things. I didn't want to just hang out and drink or be in the streets or do this or do that. I just had different tastes. But I want to say, like, for instance, when you were asking about why my dad didn't know in high school, like, who I was dating, was because my mom was very strict. And, you know, if he knew, she would know, you know. So it just.
Also, you were avoiding your mom.
I'm what?
You were avoiding your mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So.
Okay.
The advice that I would give to the, you know, younger girls now, and that whole deciding, first of all, just you connect to whatever who you connect with. But the one thing that I didn't know, that I didn't learn later in life, is set boundaries. And I mean, that sounds so simple, but I didn't know about setting boundaries when I was younger. Just for example, so dating the cute nerd but thuggish dude in Chicago, we were out somewhere and somebody shot at us in the car. At that point, I was like, this is not for me, right? But I had to go through that to realize, like, you know, oh, okay, that was exciting, but I want to live, you know. But again, everybody has their, you know, again, setting boundaries. That's all I got to say.
Well, okay, so wait a minute. Why were you guys shot at? Was you a mistaken identity, or was somebody trying to shoot him?
Well, somebody's trying to shoot him. He was in a gang. I knew he was.
Okay,
yeah.
so here we go. Let's unpack this. And this is what I'm talking about. This is the purpose of the show. Okay, so you were younger. You said set boundaries, right? I get it.
I didn't do that then, right?
But what would the boundary have been? Not to fuck with him at all to begin with. Because the thing is, you knew the propensity of getting shot at was high, being in a car with him.
Well, I didn't know when you're dating the cute boy, you know, the one. I didn't know. I was 15, right? I didn't know. But when it actually happened, that's when I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, not for me. So. But I can say that now because I had to go through that. So if I'm giving advice to someone to avoid them going through that, set your boundaries. I didn't do that. I was.
So you didn't know that gangbangers get shot at and shoot at people?
Look, growing up in my neighborhood, like you said, if I walked through the neighborhood with that dude, I was that dude's girl. Oh, that's, you know, so-and-so's girl. So they knew not to mess with me.
And,
right?
And you thought that he had that kind of power simply because like...
whole family was...
I think as a man, Shannon, it's hard for you to understand.
You know, that's what gangs do.
It is hard. That's why me and Sir Hale is here, because this stuff doesn't make sense to us. And we want. I'm trying to get to understand the ladies' mindset, and then I also want you guys to teach the younger ones what you know now, so they don't make the same mistakes that others have made.
But remember, this was
like
the
this
80s.
boundaries. Like this boundaries thing is great, but I just want to know, where's that boundary stop for young ladies? Like you saying, set boundaries. Be specific. Tell her, don't fuck with dudes that's in gangs, or mess with dudes in gangs. Just don't drive with them. I mean, where's the boundaries? You know, be clear.
No, I can't say. You know, I don't know. I wouldn't. Somebody else can speak on that.
I can. I say don't fuck with dudes in the. Go ahead. It's not my show. It's not my show. Go ahead.
This is the thing.
I can't exactly speak on.
So go ahead. What are you gonna
Go ahead,
say?
Professor Marvey.
No, the original question was to what would we tell our daughters or our younger women? For me, what I tell my daughter is a freshman in college right now, and she's dating. She's dating. Shannon, you know this story. She's dating, and she's been, you know, back and forth with, you know, the college, you know, frat boy, and then, you know, she's back and forth with the, you know, the bio major, and she's had her experience with both. And what I tell her is, Amaya, like, and this is one thing that wasn't told to me when I was young and I was dating, or before, you know, even before I found my husband, I wasn't told this, is date with a purpose. I tell her, I said, get an image in your head of how you want your life to be. Get an image in your head and of how you want your life to be, and then date that person that is leading towards that life that you want to live. So find the person that is like-minded like yourself. Find the person that you have common interests and common, current and future goals with, and go from there. Because it doesn't matter whether they are a nerd or quote unquote thug mentality. If you have future goals that are like-minded, you guys will more likely go further than what you think.
Wait, so are you
Because of what?
suggesting? Wait, let me be clear.
No, let me
clear.
finish. Let me finish. Because, and this is, I'm telling her in her college experience. So there are a lot of times to where men that are coming from a thug mentality or a thug environment that are in college and are getting a higher education, or doing something with themselves or whatever the case is, but they still hold on to their environment. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are a bad person. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to put her in danger or whatever the case is, as long as they're moving forward with their lives and disconnecting themselves from that way of life. If they're learning and growing and so on and so forth, then don't discriminate. That's
Got you. So don't discriminate. And Sir Hale, I want you to chime in on this after I. Don't discriminate, Marvy says. Marvy says it doesn't matter if he has a thug mentality. Look at it. Look at what he wants to be in the future.
If he had a thug mentality, is what I said.
Had. She's 20. She's 19. What do you mean? What kind of history would he have? He's going to.
I think, Shannon, think about it. We may grow up in an environment, and when we get to college, it's a new experience. So while I may have grown up in the inner cities of LA and all of my cousins and everybody around me is involved in this other lifestyle, I got the good grades and I went off to college. But I still have this thug mentality because that's kind of what I know. I still know the streets. I'm still connected to the streets, but now I'm a college student. Now I'm meeting young ladies that I've never seen before, I've never met before, and I'm having to unlearn things. And I think that's what some young men are going through. And so us as young women who didn't even come from that same environment, when I'm dating in college, I'm not discriminating about where you came from and the things that you're overcoming. I'm looking at who you are now, where your goals are now, and not judging you for the environment that you couldn't control that you grew up in. Because we're here now, and I'm meeting you at this place, and I'm respecting you at this place that I'm meeting you at.
This is why young women should date older men. This is why a 22-year-old girl should date a 32-year-old boy. Because I don't want and ladies, listen to me. Hear me out. And this is just the men. I hear what you ladies are teaching the ladies. But let me just say, this is why the young girl should date the older guy who's already gone through that shit. Because you guys base so much of your life and your relationships on probabilities. Probabilities.
Dating an older guy is a probability.
I mean, I'm sorry, on possibilities.
Listen,
you do it on possibility. The possibility that he's going to grow out. No, hear me out. You guys, I'm sorry, let me say probability. You guys went on possibilities. I know the probabilities because look at the stats. We can look at the outcomes of our relationships right now and know how shit is probably going to end up. But you guys base everything on these possibilities that he's going to grow up. He's possible because he takes Econ 101. He's going to suddenly become this wonderful fucking business magistrate. He's going to be the possibility because of the pillow talk after he'd already had sex, after he'd already shot up the club, and now you're pregnant by this nigga, right? The possibility of him becoming this wonderful guy is always in your head, and I should give him a pass because I get it. He came from the hood. He grew up on the corner of Rough and Tough. I get it, and I didn't fell in love with him, and now I'm having this baby, and I realize that the probability of this nigga going back to the hood is higher than the possibility of him becoming who I want him to be. What I'm saying is, skip all of that. And then you don't have to worry about it. Get somebody that's get somebody who's what you want, not who you think is going to be what you want. That's just my point on that. Go
You may
ahead,
not
Sir.
Everybody's
know
not
what you want,
attracted to
though.
an older person, though.
And that's the problem.
Everybody's not
Black women are
attracted to someone
attracted to the
that's
wrong
outside of
shit.
their age range.
Black women are attracted to the wrong things, and it's black women particularly.
Oh no.
But
I
Yes.
even
dated a
if you
few
date,
guys that were
Yes.
10
you
years
meet
older than me, and
someone,
they were the worst decisions I've ever made in my life. Okay?
even
Let
if
me
you're
tell
dating
you.
someone that's 10 years older than you're still dating on a probability or a
Yes.
possibility.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
Because
still a
you.
I don't look
yes.
at I
Thank
don't
you.
look at a
Absolutely,
man
why?
that's 10 years older than me as being where he needs to be. You know, he has a long way to go still. There's still room for growth.
He
There's
got 10
still
years
room.
less than the dude that's in your that's sitting across from you in the class.
But some of that
Yeah.
10-year-old, that dude sitting across from me in class may be more mature, maybe more,
There we go with the
you know.
maybes. There we go with the
But
possibility.
you're still dealing with the maybe when you're dealing
Yeah.
with the guy that's 10 years
But
old.
but the
I've dated
chances,
guys
see,
that were 10 years older than me. I've dated guys that were 15 years older than me. I've dated guys my age. And I cannot tell you that the guys that were older than the guys that I was dating my age were any different.
I can. They were.
They
were better.
What is,
Baby, no,
That's
they were
your
not.
Yes, they were.
experience. You can only speak from your experience.
No,
to
it's not.
you
No,
all.
my shit is anecdotal.
Yeah.
I talk to thousands of people a year. It's not anecdotal. This is not just like what I know in my homies. I talk. This is across the board, and the numbers bore it out. The numbers bore this. The numbers bore this out. But here's the thing. I get it. If we could talk about, listen. If you want to date somebody who, it doesn't matter that he has a thug mentality. Look at what he's talking about, and then go with that, right? Which is what Marvy said, as opposed to looking at somebody who's actually moving and doing something to go to what he was talking about 10 years prior. You think that is better than the guy that you can watch and see? It makes no sense. But I want to.
I'm confused. Are you saying?
Wait, hold on, Professor Cheryl. I want Sir Hill. I wanted to throw it to Sir Hill because he's been quiet for a while.
It's a little disappointing because I think that the elephant in the room is black women keep up this thug culture because you just want thugs. Black women are in love with thugs. It just is what it is. It's almost like you can tell whatever grade level, whatever age, I need them to have some thug in them. Did you guys ever see that show called
I Want
Power?
a Soldier. That's the second best song from Destiny's Child outside of Independent Woman was Soldier.
Personally, I think it's because our definitions of thug are a little different, but that's just me. Like, I agreed with Professor Happy's kind of definition and Professor Tamiko's definition of somebody who maybe has a hood mentality because they were raised a little different. I don't really want you to carry an AK-47 down the street and be a gangbanger. When I think thug, that's not really, I'm not thinking gangbanger. And so I don't know when we transition from thug to gangbanger, but baby,
well,
I'm
it
not
did
going
when
that
Professor
far down.
Tamiko was
I'm
getting
just-
shot at. Went to Professor Tamiko had 9mm bullets flying past her
The
head.
tattoos up your neck and on your face. I didn't date nobody like that. I
Right.
stood outside and
Right.
asked a few questions about the pain.
Or
of those
you
tattoos,
did, and
but-
you just didn't get caught up in the drive-by. You see
Can
what
I
I'm saying?
say we caught up in a few drive-bys, but shoot, I might have been at a family's house. Not just
I personally don't think that it's just African American women or Black women. I think women are attracted to alpha males, and what it is that a lot of times women associate the thug or the street guy to the alpha male. So that's what we're attracted to, not necessarily it is where he's coming from or what he's doing. It's just because of the alpha mentality that he has, and that's across the board for all women. All women want a man that's gonna, when they say no, they mean no, and you like, okay, baby. And a lot of times, like with the corny guy, he doesn't have the experience to say the no.
It's a life experience.
Yeah,
and he doesn't walk with the same level of confidence, maybe. And
Is that
so there's some level of inconsistency and a lack of confidence that you sometimes find in someone who might be a little bit more corny. You know what I mean? And when you're looking for somebody who's walking with confidence the same way that you are, and standing up for what they believe in and saying those no's, like you just said, Professor Marvey, sometimes you find that in the guy who has more of a thug mentality. You find that confidence that that mirrors you. They're more confident in walking up to you. They're not intimidated by your education. They're not intimidated by your communication. They're willing to get to know you and still, and walk with confidence, where the corny guy is not walking up to you. He's not asking you for your number all the time. He's looking at you from a corner, and you never even know that he was interested until years later, where they say, well, I liked you all through high school. You never said anything. You know what I mean? And so I think we automatically assume that this corny guy is reaching out to all these girls and getting turned down. But sometimes the corny guy is not saying anything. He's sitting in the corner, corny,
And then half
quiet.
the time
Women
in
should have a
those
little bit more
relationships,
confidence.
half the time, and I don't know the statistics on it, but half the time in those relationships, the woman is running the relationship with that quote unquote corny guy. And I could be wrong, but
You know what's gonna happen?
It takes a while to find a good corny guy. Marry him when you find him. Because I won't
yeah.
say that I'm married. I'm not married to a thug, but it takes a while to find that corny guy who's got the confidence, who's not wearing J's, you know what I mean? Who doesn't
Yeah.
care about the fashion trends, who's not, kicking it outside on the block with his homeboys. Like, that is still a good man. And ladies, when you find him, invest in him as well. Give him the same opportunity and the same amount of time and energy that you would have given to the thug guy who stepped up to you with confidence, because you
Yeah.
have this perceived idea about him. I just, it's hard to find. I had to be introduced to my husband, and he wasn't living in another country, y'all. Okay? It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, and it's nothing wrong with shooting your shots, ladies. It's nothing wrong with going up and saying hello. If you're in that environment and you see someone that catches your eye, or that corny guy that that's not going to come and talk to you because, his confidence is not up yet, but you see something that you like, it's okay to go say hi. It's okay to go compliment him. Oh, your shirt, that particular color looks nice on you. Start a conversation. It's okay. But
I
just
also
know that in some cases, when you do that, he may not be the guy that's going to be the alpha male or the alpha in the relationship.
I don't think we have to date out of survival mode. I don't think we definitely should not be getting married out of survival mode. If you have a taste for first of all, if you in your mind say that you like thugs, you ain't ready to get married. So it starts with the mind. So let's start there. If this is wife school, let's start with the mind. And the reality is that if you are attracted to, and you are, and you say it to yourself and you say it to other people, and you look for a thug, it's something going on. And the reality is, like, a lot of times that when that does happen, a lot of women, most women are attracted to an alpha male. And so if you're looking for that thug type of guy, I would tell you to probably do some searching into your root chakra, because there's probably some areas in your root chakra that are unhealed. Your root chakra is where your tribal connections come from. If you don't feel safe, if you've never developed healthy connections with other people, your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, that tribal connection, your family, if you don't have a strong family, because most people with a family ain't gonna go outside. Cheryl wasn't going outside looking for a thug, because at home she had her mom and her dad that showed her what a healthy relationship or a healthy lifestyle was. If you are looking for that thug type, the reality is there's probably some kind of break in your mindset, and you really need to address, before you get into a relationship, what's broken. And a lot of times what I've found in the people that I've talked to, and the women that I've spoken to, and in the men that I've spoken to that are attracted to maybe people that it don't work out with, is that there is a root chakra issue where you have to set or address your healing with your tribal family, with your tribe, and your understanding of tribe, and the way that you relate. Because if you're going out and you're looking for security and you're looking for protection and you think that a thug is going to do it, because like we already have stated, that's a false sense of protection. A man that is in the streets, that's living in the streets, that's doing illegal things, and that's carrying guns illegally, baby, that is not protection. That is a false sense of protection. And if you even believe that that's protection, there is an issue that you need to address within yourself. Like I had to tell one dude, he wanted me to get a gun so bad. He wanted me to get a gun so bad, and I couldn't do it because I couldn't shoot a gun. So I have a FOIA card, I have a conceal and carry, but I won't shoot a gun, and I know I won't. But I had to explain to him, and I had to learn this about myself. I don't carry a gun for the same reason that he did. The way that I show up, I don't need a gun. And if you gonna shoot me, baby, that's just what you gonna do. And me having a gun is not gonna prevent that. If you are looking for somebody like a thug, the reality is, baby, you need to work on yourself, and you need to understand what you understand to be protection. And you need to understand why you think that is protection. If it's not about protection and that's just what you're attracted to, it actually still goes back to that mindset. Because if you intentionally put yourself in that environment as a grown adult, you know what the consequences will be. If you choose to ignore those consequences because of your lower chakra, because maybe you just find him so damn sexy, he's just the sexiest one, he's the only one, that is still an issue that you need to address with how you feel safe. So I think that my thought on this whole topic for wife school specifically, I don't think you need to change your taste as a young woman. You need to know what it is that you like. You need to know what it is that you're attracted to. And you need to pay attention and study yourself and study what it is that you're attracted to, and know why you're attracted to those things. And then, like Marvin said too, I really love that you told your daughter to date with a purpose, because that is what every human being that is looking for a spouse needs to do. You need to be dating for a purpose. You need to know what it is that you are looking for, and make sure that you're doing the things that are in alignment to find that vision, to get to that goal.
Yes, I agree with you, Professor Happy. And a lot of times with the girls, with learning themselves and learning who they are and what they want, a lot of times, as women, like, we think that we want that quote unquote thug. And what it is like, we just want someone, we want an alpha male that we want to experience adventures with. And that's what it is. We want him to be able to show us things, to, level us up in our
And you guys don't think that you can get that from square dudes?
It's not that we can't get it from. It's just that that's not our first viewpoint of where it's at.
Why?
Right? I don't know. Just experience.
They don't leave with that. Like she just said, the corny guy don't leave with adventure.
Yeah.
Not with how he's coming. That's not how his energy is coming. Half the time, the corny dude wants to bring you in so that you can give him adventure. Like Sir Hill just said, a lot of times that nerdy guy wants what he doesn't have in a woman. So you have chemistry is a real thing. You're going to be attracted to who you're attracted to, but you got to understand why. A lot of it is in the mind. A lot of it, most of it, actually, I really believe all of it is spiritual. So you need to address your mind, but really know who you are spiritually and know what your spiritual foundation is. Because I had to learn, hey, the guys aren't for me, because in actuality, they're going to put me in danger. Whether they want to, whether they're trying to, whether they think they are or not. Will.
All right.
And we're not saying, ladies, don't overlook the corny guy, because you can date, a corny guy, and you can let him know what you want. And, and if he likes you and he's interested in you, as any man would, they're going to supply what you want. They're going to supply what you need. So you can teach them, but then that goes back to what Shannon said. If you're dating older, you wouldn't have to go through this, build a man.
It's always going to circle back to what Shannon said.
Whatever.
It's always going to circle back to what Shannon said.
Whatever.
Because my shit is, listen, and and we can talk about that again as well. But when I had said black women particularly, Essence Magazine 2000, I had to look it up. That's why I had kind of zoned out for a second, because I don't want to misquote these sisters, two doctors called the Matchmaking Duo. And they did an article in Essence Magazine in 2017, and I quote, "We found that as opposed to our white clients that we had, black women are usually looking for physical attributes first. They say we look for someone," because they're black women that did this. They say we look for someone who is attractive to us, and then we pick up on his hobbies and his interests and his values, whereas our white clients are looking for the reverse first. What kind of job does he have? Is he going to be able to provide? Then they circle back. We're the first ones, black women, that look at men's bodies and how attractive they are, whereas our white clients have a long list of requirements of things like character and integrity, and then down the line, it backfires for us because you were never compatible mix to start with. End quote.
Well, I will say, Shannon, that those characteristics are what I look for first.
Well, no, I get it. Anecdotally, everybody. Well, that's the reason why guys have. That's so. Understand something. I handpicked you guys. I know. I could have a completely different panel of women that just agree with everything I'm saying. I could have a completely different panel of women that just disagree with everything. But I knew who I got, and I inspected each one of you ladies' lives before I even asked you to come on here. And so I know that it's different, but we have to look. I know that I'm amazing, motherfucker, and you won't find another Shannon. I get it. But when I give advice, I don't do it based on Shan, because there's not a lot of Shans. I have to do it based on the average dude. And so even with you ladies being above average, we have to speak to the average people. That's the reason why we have averages. And that's why I was asking you, even for you, Cheryl, about your friends, because why did they do what they did? Because that's generally the case. That's typically the majority. And so even when I was explaining to Professor Marvy, I was saying black women, this is what you guys look for first. Particularly, it's one, I just read that, but it's like 3 more articles that I've read. It's 3, and then even with our own, we already just looking at what we do. I just watched a video of a sister that was saying, I only want these kind of certain women to hang around me. If she's skinny, she can't kick it. You know, it's just the shit that black people do. This is part of black culture. Huh? I forget who said it. It was some rapper.
She was ignorant, but yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. So
it was real ignorant.
I'm gonna hear that from fucking, from goddamn Sinead O'Connor. I won't hear that from no white artist. That's gonna be black women that says that stuff. And so when I say black, and don't get me wrong, black men are not absolved, but I deal with them on Tuesdays. Tonight I'm talking to the ladies. And so the ladies, you guys pick the wrong shit first, far too often. And with what they said in this article, right? These attributes often come with that dude that gives you the thrill, that gives you the excitement. That's the dude that's working out all the time as opposed to studying. That's the dude that makes sure he got the right body, he got the right car, and got the right outfit on, as opposed to fucking learning how to trade at 21. And so what I'm simply saying is men grow into that later. If you got a guy, if you're 22 years old and you're dating a 22-year-old guy, he's going to be concentrating on doing what he has to do to attract you, and not necessarily on what's best for his life, which is one of the issues and one of the things I'm trying to work with on young men, because I want them to concentrate on becoming better men. But if women, if what turns you on and makes you moist is this physical attraction and this bad boy and the dude that gives you that little edge, and then you ignoring the guy that's going to be best for you, 10 years from now, that guy that now he done already spent his formidable years becoming the super smart, fucking established at his corporation, company, or whatever, putting himself on the map, buying property, doing the things that's necessary so he can be a great guy and a great husband. But you ignored him 10 years ago. You were too busy fucking with Pookie. And he told you he liked you, but you put him in the friend zone. You said, you cool, but nah, I'm fucking with. And he watched it, and so he's sitting at home and he's watching that shit. And now he's watching it on his Instagram. He's watching you party with that dude and hang out with that dude and blow hookah with that dude. And while he's trying to become better. But when he becomes better, and then Pookie then use you up, throw you, treat you bad, gives you a couple babies, don't marry you. Now you're looking at the dude that you ignored, and he's saying, what you want now? And I'm simply saying, don't ignore him. Pay attention to him now. Now is when the young lady should pay attention to that guy. Now I get it. We're talking about, like Professor Cheryl said, well, wait a minute, there's no guarantee he's going to be any better. In fact, he ain't made it yet. No, he hasn't, but he got a 10-year head start on the guy that you hope is going to be there. You could look at at least he has a progress report that you can examine and say, well, what did you do at 26, 27, 28? And how was you at 29 and 30 and 31? And now 32? Okay, I like your progress. Over here, you got to say, well, I hope you do it. You don't have no history. You have no job history. Your credit report is blank. I hope you do it, though. And he's telling you all the shit you want to hear. And he's making you feel good.
All right. So then you're telling our young women to date up. So you telling our young women.
But that's not the show. But I'm going to always say that.
Okay. So you're telling our young women to date up, right? So
yes.
You're telling our young women to get the man that is already.
Don't you fuck with a Build-A-Bear. No.
Okay. But listen, though. So you're telling our young women to go ahead and get that man that's already out of college and already established or whatever the case is and already in his confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, and he's interested in her too.
He found out who he is. He's in his confidence. He knows what his worth is. And he knows that women are dropping at his feet because of his status. So what makes you think that he's not using that to his advantage, but then you're telling a young woman that is still learning and growing or whatever the case is, and then she meets him, and then she gets, ran over by him because
I'll give you the answer. He wants to be married more than his 22 version of himself. And all the 22-year-old niggas that's in college with her now. He wants a family way more than that guy. That's number one. So that's an advantage to you, especially if that's where you are. That's number one. Number two, you got to compete. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying, ladies, that it's going to be that you're going to that messing with him is a safer bet than messing with the guy your age. But if you're going to lose, who you want to lose to? If you're gonna, because you've tried the younger guys, and I grew up. You know how many 74% of single family homes is women that tried that guy. We got to do something a little different now. And so I'm simply saying, if I had to pick one, I would rather go with probability of an older dude that's 31, 32 years old, if I was a 22-year-old girl, than a 22-year-old boy who graduated high school with me and praying that his ass do right. That's that, but that's not this show. This show is, why are they picking the thugs even at the young age? And I'm simply saying, on top of that, ladies, like you say, well, ignore that gangbanger. Don't fuck with a nigga that has broken English, that can't type, because by and large, and this is why I kind of mentioned the movie Chirac, men will get their shit together if they have reason to. And I'm not saying that it's on y'all, because it's not on y'all. These niggas need to do it on their own, and that's what we're trying to do. But I'm talking to y'all tonight. If you stop giving away the pussy so goddamn easy to anybody that asks for it, then he'll have a reason to become who he needs to be. But if you just gonna give it to him, then what's the incentive? That was the show I had with Husband School on Tuesday. What's the incentive the show was literally called, hold on. The show was literally called Husband School. Why should I level up if women are interested in thugs and criminals? Because one of my young fraternity bros asked me that. He's like, man, why I gotta look? Nicki Minaj married the homie from the hood. Cardi married Offset. Fucking goddamn Summer Walker had a baby by London on the Track. All these women. ASAP Rocky got Rihanna. Why should I level up, bruh? Why you want me to? Why I gotta wear a suit? Why not just? Because this is what they like. If women like this, then why should I do that? Because that over there ain't working.
That's
okay, but then that goes back to
that's social media and everyone glorifying that type of lifestyle. So
it is what it is.
that would be why they're choosing to be with these thugs. I mean, I guess like today, that's the
And
reason
that's the
why
same
they're
for the
choosing to
man.
be with
That's
them.
the same for the man. Choosing the
It is
women
the
with
same for the man.
the extra bodies and extra body parts getting implants and everything else. So that's the same.
No,
That's just the opposite
but
It
that's
side.
not
is
true.
because women feel like, why should I go to the gym if I can go and get surgery? Because that's what men like, anyways.
I said no. That's what men
That's
will
what they
fuck
like in.
anyway. See, and now I got to give you the insights on the mentality of
So
the man. We
maybe
will
that's
fuck
how-
all
that's-
y'all. No, we won't wife though. Those women are not getting a ring.
Not a lot of those
Let me be
men
clear.
didn't get, well,
They are
all
not
husbands
getting.
now,
They are
though.
not jumping nobody's broom. They are not jumping nobody. They are getting fucked. They are getting passed around, and they're getting a whole lot of likes and attention on Instagram. And that's where the buck stops there. Anything beyond that, they're looking for something who's more formative. I mean, more. I'm having a slip of word. They're looking for the good girl to have a family with. And if family is the goal, ladies, if long-term successful relationships is the goal, go to the gym.
So in essence too, so if we have an understanding that women like the thug persona because that's what's glorified and that's what is popular, then the idea is how to change that and how to because ultimately, yes, men are going to step up if women stop giving away the kitty. And women also will change if they know that men want this particular type of woman. And so, women with the BBLs and with, the 20 inches or whatever it is.
The fun
they
girls,
wear.
yeah. Those are all our fun girls. Mm-hmm.
So, when that is no longer popular, when that's not the thing anymore. I was listening to this this reel, and this guy was saying he was saying something to the fact that music has changed a lot of the music has changed a lot of what we look at as desirable. Like back in the day, the most popular thing was a black university sweater or sweatshirt. Like that was the most popular item to wear. And now, on the flip side, a lot of our mentality has changed, going with the music, going with social media, going with what's widely publicized and just put out. And so how do we change that?
Well, we start a podcast called Wife School. That's number one.
Yes, but I'm saying as far as you have the husband school as well too, but just changing that mainstream, because we can talk about it all day, but as long as women know that that's not the popular thing, or that's not what's perceived as the popular thing or the desirable thing, attitudes are not going to change or shift.
Well, I get it, and that's the uphill battle that we have. That's the fight that I'm having with men. That's the uphill battle, because we are fighting against a machine that was designed for us to fail. It was created. The music, that was a perfect. I don't know this meme. If you can find it, please send it to me. Music has changed. Music has influenced the minds of human beings since the beginning of recorded history. Music,
That's what I was saying about
I mean, goddamn, the Pied Piper even had got the rats out of the city by playing music to them. Music is so influential. Exactly, Professor Happy. And so what do? Well, one, we have a little bit of lived experience, and we try to teach. Now, we've always tried to teach the youngsters. My mother tried to teach me, my father, and oftentimes we don't listen to our OGs. We just kind of got to burn ourselves to realize that fire is hot. But we have to just simply make it more attractive. We got to kind of make it more attractive to fight this machine that says the BBL is what you need, ladies, and lashes and lace fronts. That's what you got to get. Fuck everything else. Just get that and you'll get your man. don't pay attention to those stats. Throw those stats away. And I hear that the most from women, just from my experience. I don't care about stats. The stats don't matter. It's like, what? Ignore facts. Yeah, they don't want you to read the numbers. They don't want you to read they don't. They want you to just go off of your feelings. Go off of what you feel. And so you feel that that's what guys want. And I'm simply saying, no, that's what guys will have sex with. We have no problem making her the fun girl. We don't have no problem with the booty calls and the hey good morning beautiful morning texts, right? Who we are showing to mom, who we are considering lifelong marriageable partners, ain't her. It's not them. It is what. And look, again to somebody that asked me the question about the women that dated look what they had. You know why? Is because one would say, how come Nikki didn't just get how come Nikki didn't get married to a certain kind of guy? Why is Summer Walker with all her tattoos couldn't get, because look at who they had to resort to. Because is with all that money and all that fame and all that notoriety and music and all that kind of shit, even the good corporate lawyer is like, oh no, I'm not fucking with her. I'd rather have a Cheryl. I mean, she's cool. I mean, we can go to Pound Town, but but who I'd rather take a picture with publicly is Aisha. How you doing, Bethany?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm glad you made it.
I know, right? I got these babies now.
Listen, we're getting ready to wrap it up. I want you to give your final thought as well as to, and not even so much a final thought. I want, ladies, tonight is going to be final advice. It's going to be final advice, right? The final advice is there's 21-year-old girls who are who just RSVP'd for an event this Friday. They go into some club, they go into some party, they going to hang out at some celebrity's birthday party or some bullshit, and they think it's gonna be lit, and it's gonna be some niggas up in there. And I want to, and we know who they're gonna be attracted to versus the guy that didn't even think about going to that party, wasn't invited or declined the invite. Ladies, I want to hear your advice as to what you give that girl. Now, I heard what some of you guys are saying. Sometimes it's date a little. You want a little hybrid. You want a guy that's a little rough. You want a guy that's that's a little nerdy. I say ignore all the roughness. My advice: ignore all the roughness. You want a refined gentleman. You want a refined gentleman through and through. Now, will you find that at a young age? Probably not. But then that turns into a different argument, right? But I want you to date the boring guy. I know it's boring, but in the long run, you won't be a spinster. You will get the outcomes that I think that will be best and most beneficial for you in the long term, as opposed to getting used up by dudes with who don't have your best interests at heart. There's nothing I can do about these guys, but the reality is those are the dudes. It's only 18% or so of the black male population that's having all these goddamn babies. We already know that over 50% of black men are in the middle class and are childless. They don't have kids, and the other 30% are married. That's why it leaves just these dudes that's having babies by multiple women. You get dudes like, oh, I got 5 baby mamas. And the women are having sex with these dudes, knowing like the mistake should have been woken up at woman number 2, but they continue to do it all because they got that mouth. These dudes had that mouthpiece, and they say the shit that women need to hear. But I want to hear what you guys and the ladies want it, because I can't explain it to the ladies, and I'm not. It's not my place to explain to the ladies. It's y'all's place. What advice would you give each other? And Bethany, we'll come to you last. What advice would you give to each other? To the young ones that's asking or watching this show, when she's interested in going this Friday when she goes out, who she's going to give her Instagram and phone number to, and who she's going to be laid up in the bed with next week.
Can I start first?
Go ahead,
I've been
Tamiko.
really quiet. I'm still going back to setting your boundaries, knowing that's it. You going back to what Professor Happy had mentioned about it starts in the mind. Know who you are. You gotta know what you want. You gotta, and that comes with setting boundaries. So when you go to the club, and you can go out and have fun, and you're going to get a mix of whoever there, but you know what you want, you know what you will put up with, you know what you don't, you know what I mean? So again, that's my best advice is what works for you. Set your boundaries, and then don't sway from it, right? If that dude comes up to you and you know you don't want to date someone that has 5 baby mamas, don't continue the conversation.
Don't be number
Thank
6.
Don't become number 6. Yeah, setting boundaries. That's it.
The advice that I give my daughter is, I always tell her, I said, sex is for reproduction. And the reason why, no, I do. I still don't tell her.
If that's gonna work, but go ahead.
Well, because here's the thing. I tell her that because she doesn't want to have children, which is, fine by this is in her head. She doesn't want to have children. That's fine by me. That's fine.
Ever?
Okay,
she doesn't ever want to have children?
She doesn't want kids.
That's a fad.
She doesn't want kids.
No,
right, and that's what I
that's
said.
A fad.
And that's fine because, that's fine. But if that's what you really want, then guess what? You don't need to be sexing because sex is for reproduction. Right. And what I say is that and what I've learned myself is don't ever put yourself in a situation with a man to where you can't look at this man and say, hey, I know that he's going to make a great father to my children.
See, we need to have a show about vetting, Professor Marvy.
Yeah.
So there's one thing. So what's important in what you said, Professor Marvy, is when you see a guy, make sure that you see him tomorrow, not today. Mm-hmm. The problem is, do they know what they're looking for when it comes to looking at the future? And that's a whole nother show.
And that's what I said, that you have to know what you want. You have to be working towards what you want in your future life. Because if you already have these things in your mind of where you want to be, you're acting on it now. So if you already have that type of mindset, and that's what women like on this panel is spreading to our younger women, is know where you want to go. Don't spend so much time being, oh, well, I don't know, and maybe, and it's not. No, set a plan. Have a plan and follow it. And even if your plan changes somewhere down the line, it's okay because you still was on your plan. And just because it changes paths, that's okay. You still have a plan. And if you meet this young man and in your plan, this man doesn't look like the ideal person that you would want to have children with or be your husband, then you need to make sure that you, separate what fun is and what you want for a long term. Is this guy you talking to, is this just fun? Or is this guy that you're talking to, can he be Mr. It? And if you looking for Mr. It and it's not a part of your plan, then you act accordingly. You don't give him you don't give Mr. Fun your number. You don't give Mr. Fun you entertain him for the moment, and that's it. You keep it pushing.
See, what do you entertain him for the moment? Define that, please.
I mean, the scenario you set up is for the women that is going out partying tonight or this weekend, right? So you enjoy yourself at the party.
Okay. You mean don't be rude. Okay, I got you.
Right, right.
Don't be rude because men shoot you these days.
Go
so
ahead
don't
and
be
flirt,
rude, girl.
No, I got you. Entertainment for the moment sounded a little promiscuous to me. But I was looking. I'm looking at it a different way. I'm a guy.
Shannon.
I'm a guy. I can't tell a guy, entertainer for the moment. That means he's gonna be smashed for a couple
No,
minutes
because I already said you're not sexing anybody that you can't see as the father of your child or as your husband. You don't want to put yourself in that situation for any oops.
I hear you.
That's my best advice.
Professor Aisha. You on mute, Aisha.
Oh, my bad. For me, I think I'd like to echo a couple of the things that the ladies have already said. Like Professor Tamiko said, set your boundaries. The only way to set your boundaries is to begin to do that inner work that Professor Happy was talking about, working on yourself, working on your mindset, really understanding what you're looking for and what you're wanting. And I think, Professor Marvey, you're completely right. Enjoy every moment that you experience. Enjoy the club with your friends. Enjoy the conversations, the laughs. Enjoy the moments that you may be around these people. You may have an opportunity to learn from these people, but if you have the proper boundaries already set up and you know yourself, you know that tomorrow and next week, that enjoyment is gone. You're not still enjoying the same person. It was just a moment, of experience, not necessarily a lifetime, and if you can't take them home, you probably don't really want to be dating them. So consider that too.
That's a bar. If you can't take them home, then why fuck with them at all?
Because it's fun, because I did it. I was just saying, though, if we were talking about good advice, if you just make that, something to consider. Because there was tons of people. I didn't take any. I think my parents met my husband, and if they met anybody else before then, it was by accident, because I said don't ring the doorbell and they did, or something.
That's a whole nother show. So real quick, sidebar. So I talk about this in the manosphere a lot, but some guys agree, some guys don't. So I don't have any daughters. I have 2 sons. If I had a daughter, I believe that women should be covered by their father until he dies or until she gets married, whichever comes first. That's my personal belief. I believe that a father should cover his daughter. And what I mean by cover is make sure that she's protected, make sure she's provided for, make sure that she has a roof over her head, make sure that he does everything that he needs to do for her to live a comfortable life on planet Earth until he dies or until she gets married. It's a handoff. It's like a quarterback to a running back. That's how I believe it should be, right? Now, what we're doing nowadays is fathers is having daughters, and at the age of 18, going out there and explore life. Figure it out. Figure it out. I know it's hard out there, and call me if you need me. And leave it up to your own devices on who you're gonna date, where you're gonna work. Do what you want to do, no problem. And then if you run into any issues, call me. Other than that, don't bother me. I'm at home watching TV, watching the game. No, I think that's bad. I think that's a shitty way of raising a daughter. Now, with that said, there's some men that's trying to do that, but then there's a lot of daughters that's like, I'm evading my dad. I ain't telling my dad shit. Because I know that my father would not approve of this nigga if I was to bring him home. But that's the point. I wrote a meme back on Facebook years ago. I said, your parents know your shitty friends before you do. They just do. Unfortunately, and if Professor Cheryl's daughter is watching this show or the replay, your mom knows all your shitty friends before you ever will. That's just how it goes. I don't know why parents know bad friends. Don't fuck with that nappy head. Don't do it. Why? Just trust me. Sometimes it's intuition. Sometimes parents see shit. I don't know what it is, but that's the same thing that happens with guys. See, women get fooled by these slick mouth dudes, but you can't slick mouth Daddy Shan. You run that nigga through me, I'll let you know if he's worthy or not. And I'll let you know that probably in 5 minutes. I only got to look at a few key points and I can tell you where he's going. So if I had a daughter and she ran all her dudes through me, I guarantee you she's going to marry somebody of substance. But when she doesn't do that and she circumvents me and she's out there, and I don't have a daughter, but if this is what happened, and she circumvents me and she's out there fucking with who she wants to fuck with, I might run into a situation where my daughter becomes a baby mama. Guaranteed poverty almost, in America at least. Problem after problem, mental issues and all the other kind of bullshit that we're dealing with here in America. So what Professor Aisha said is so important, ladies. I hope you please go back, rewind the video and listen to it again. It's important that you pay attention to exactly what she said. And don't do what she did. Ripping and running them streets and didn't want to tell her mama or her daddy. And her husband met her parents. That's the key word. She said if they met one of the other guys, it was by accident. But the one that she married was one that her mama met, that her dad met, and her dad checked him out, sized him up, looked him up and down, looked into his eyes and saw where he was going. And he was like, all right, this is cool. So that's important. Appreciate you. Professor Happy. You want me to throw the timer on you, Professor Happy? There you go.
Look. Okay, because y'all know I could talk. This is what I will say. Know yourself. If you decide you want to become a wife, it's so important that you know yourself. We are talking to young girls, but the advice that I have is know your power as a woman. You have to develop certain skills if you are going to be a wife. Two of those, the most important ones that are relevant to this conversation, are discernment and intuition. You need to discern when a person is healthy for you and when a person is not healthy for you, when they will hinder your growth and when they will help you grow. You need intuition. These thugs are not, it's the reality is it's just not safe. It's just not safe. You're not putting yourself in a safe environment, which means that you are not actually ready to put yourself in a partnership and create a family. Because as a woman, just like I was saying earlier, as a woman, just like God damn it, the timer is throwing me off, guys, because I'm trying to.
Because Happy can talk, y'all. We know.
Look, oh my God, I lost my whole train of thought. As a woman, you gotta know what you know. That's the point. Amen. Everybody be safe.
Happy asked for it. She asked for it on the back chat. She's like, Shannon, if I'm talking too much, let me know.
Oh,
I said, okay.
For real, y'all. I know I talk too long, but it's the timer. It's really it really made me.
I give you the shot clock.
But prepare to be a wife. Develop the skills necessary to be a wife. One of those things is knowing how to protect yourself and your family. If you put yourself in a dangerous situation with a man that is not good for you or your family, that is not wisdom, you are not ready to be a wife.
Yeah, but Professor Happy, how would she be able to discern that? Like, see, that's the thing about it. That was one of the situations where I was saying when you running through dad, you ain't got to worry about figuring it out. I got you.
Everybody don't have a daddy. Everybody don't have a daddy.
So that's the thing. So now we got these women out here, and so many of them, women and men. But we're talking to the ladies tonight. How do you have any key points or anything that these ladies can use to help them on that discernment radar that they have?
I do. You have to study yourself. That's why that goes back to knowing yourself. Everybody does not have a mother and a father. Everybody does not come from a healthy environment. Everybody does not have role models that they come from that show them exactly what it is that they should do. So once you decide that you want to be a wife, you have to study yourself, know yourself enough to know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. And then you need to find the things that will strengthen you. So like I said before, if your root chakra is out of balance, guess what? You need to find healthy community in order to
Yeah, but she doesn't know how to, but she doesn't, 90% of the people don't even know what a chakra is. And then the other 90% of that 90% don't know when it's out of alignment. So
young ladies need to get mentors.
That's what I'm saying. You have to study yourself to know where you are strong and where you are weak. If you've done things in the past, everything, all your life experience is going to tell you. It's going to give you the route. It's going to give you where to go. God don't make mistakes. I don't know what you believe in, but Spirit does not make mistakes. Everything in your life happens for you. Every single thing. There are no mistakes. I would not go back and change not a one person that I, because I needed every single bit of that experience to give me what I needed to know to be who I am today. Just know to study your experiences and study yourself. I think a lot of times we go into relationships trying to study somebody else. And while that is very important, it's more important to know yourself first. So if you are attracted to a guy that's not safe, you need to ask yourself why. Because there is a reason. Maybe it's the culture, but it's an internal reason. And you have to know why you want a relationship, why you are choosing to be in a relationship, what the purpose of that thing is. And then make sure that your actions are in alignment with what the purpose that you are trying to accomplish.
Okay. Let me take this shot clock off. Professor Cheryl. Now you're dealing with this right now, Professor Cheryl. You said your daughter, she's 21? 23. She's 23 years old, young lady. And she just met somebody. You haven't met him yet. One, is that going to happen? Is that required? And two, what other advice would you give her, or do you plan on giving her?
Well, I mean, for her specifically, definitely, she's introduced me to all the guys that she dates. So I don't see why it would be any different now. She's already, she told me about him as soon as she met him. So,
does she talk to her? Does she confide in her, in Robert and her dad the way she confides in you?
No. No, she does not. So she talks to them, but no, I think we have a very close relationship. But the advice that I would give to her would just be to
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. The advice that I would give to her is just to be, just to be aware of the person that you're dealing with. Learn who you're dealing with, because a lot of times, we look at things and ignore red flags, ignore certain things that are presented to us. And we bypass it because, it's exciting meeting someone new or dating somebody new. Also, to focus on the qualities that bring you joy. So, like, for instance, when, I was dating, I always wanted to see if the things that I liked were... if the person that I was, dealing with found those things, attractive or fun, and vice versa, the guys that I was dealing with, one guy loved to skateboard, so I wanted to learn how to skateboard, learn to see if you guys have things in common, for me, it's conversation, finding out whether or not he enjoys the same type of things that I like, hiking or whatever, it may be. So just making sure that you guys have those common grounds that you guys can both enjoy together. And I guess that's, for her specifically, I guess that would be it right now. Also, I think what's important is, having somebody that you can talk to that's probably older than you, maybe someone who has a little bit more experience in where you're trying to get to in life. That's important, like in business, but also in relationships as well. And just, becoming a whole healed person, because, that's one of the main reasons why we make bad decisions as far as relationships go, is because we ourselves are broken. We're still dealing with our past traumas and things that we have not resolved in ourselves. So I think just becoming a whole healed person first, before you even get into a relationship, will save you a lot of headache and heartache, because a whole healed person is not going to allow someone to put them in an unsafe position. It's not going to allow it's not going to allow someone to abuse or misuse them, or whatever the case may be. So whatever a thug would do, I don't know. But you know, I guess that's it. Just, but that, I mean, that would probably be the most important thing. It's just, because again, a lot of the choices that we make are because of what we've experienced and what we did or did not have, you know, growing up. So
I'm gonna give Professor Cheryl a shot clock too.
I'm done. I'm finished.
Professor Cheryl and Professor Happy both getting shot clocks, y'all. They got game. They got a lot of game for y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for being here. I got 2 pieces of advice to the young ladies. This is from the man's perspective. This is from just from a guy. This is just what I believe, right? Number 1, ladies, young ladies, particularly who are interested in the bad boy, right? We know how we sensationalize that. We got Murder Inc. records. We got Death Row records. We got Bad Boy records. We know what our culture sensationalizes. We know what you are told you should want. It's not working out. It didn't work out for your auntie. It didn't work out for your mama. It's not going to work out for you. It's not going to all of a sudden work out for you. And you think that somehow you different than all the rest of the people who's having problems in this area. Date the boring guy, because here's what's important about dating the boring guy, ladies. He won't be boring forever. He won't be boring when it matters. If you would have dated me when I'm 50, if you would have dated me 30 years ago when I was 20, you would not want my 20-year-old version versus the nigga I am today. The guy I am today will have you all over the world, jumping out of airplanes, skydiving, snorkeling, traveling, eating the best shit, having the best sex, driving the best cars, living in the best. You would not, if you had to trade me 25 versus 45, you're gonna want the 45-year-old version. But I was a cornball. I was a nerd. I wrote code. I was a geek. Now I was a cool dude. I did military time and I pledged.
Let's
but,
not say. Let's not go to.
Haitian,
I was
hush.
corny.
I was nerdy a little bit. Even though listen, I get it. I got apps in the app store. Listen, I'm on Professor Marvey can attest. I'm at a computer 10 hours a day, and I've been like that for the last 30 years. So what I'm simply saying is the guy I am today is a lot more exciting than the guy I was. And that's going to be the same case for that guy that you call boring today. You want to fuck with that exciting young guy? Most of the exciting guys that I grew up with ain't shit today. I'm just sorry. It is what it is. The dudes that was popular in high school, the dudes that had all the girls, the dudes that had all the swag, them niggas ain't shit today. Trust me when I tell you, if you looked at their life compared to mine, you wouldn't want them niggas today. Number 2, piece of advice for the ladies. In addition to date the boring guys, because, you know, it doesn't matter when you're in your 20s. It matters when you're in your 30s and your 40s. The number 2 advice is you need to run your men through a father figure. I know that you don't want to do that. I know that you think you know best. I know that you believe that you can make the best decisions for your dating life. I know it. I know you think that. And I realize that maybe dad wasn't there. Maybe you never met him. Maybe you know, but do you have a father figure of some sort? If you have an actual father, first of all, that's wonderful. If you have a father and you're not utilizing that tool to its fullest extent, that's a fail. Do not have a dad who loves you, who unconditionally and will kill for you and die for you. If you have one of those kind of guys in your life, do you know how many women, young men and young women don't have a father that will die for them? He'll be like, look, I got to jump over I'll jump overboard. You save my daughter, I'll jump overboard. I'll figure it out. I'll swim or I'll drown. But spare my daughter. If you have somebody like that in your life and you don't use his wisdom to help you select better choices in the men you date, you are failing. Now, this has nothing to do with if your father makes good or bad decisions in his dating life. Maybe he's not with your mom. Maybe he's single. There's a lot of people that know how to coach but can't play. Beyonce's singing coach can't sing. There's a whole lot of basketball coaches that'll take you to the championship, but they themselves can't shoot a jumper. Just because your father figure in your life may not be the best example doesn't mean he won't have the best advice. At least run the guys that you messing with through him. And I'm saying him particularly because men know men. You can run them through your mama if you want, but your mama might miss some stuff that he might not miss, that I guarantee you he not gonna miss. Run it through him and say, you know what, Uncle, you know what, Mr. Wilson down the street that she watched me since I was in diapers. There's this guy I'm really interested in, and I want you to just take a look at his profile. Just look at it and tell me what you think. You might learn something that will, 1, save your life, 2, save you a whole lot of headache, heartache, money, and time. And I hope you guys learned something tonight. I appreciate everybody for being here. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it to Facebook particularly. Remember the serpent attacked relationships as his first attack in the book of Genesis. Shout out to Ask a Black Man Anything. We have a show coming up as soon as I end this one. That's why I think Chris is doing that. He's saying he got guests lined up for our next show. We have another podcast coming up.
Go.
I know, right? Listen, don't just plan your wedding, plan your entire marriage, and being married isn't enough. You need to be a wife. I appreciate you guys. See you next week.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Another good show.
Y'all stay well. Take care. Stay away from them bad boys. Don't get shot at, sis. Don't get shot at, sis. Stay safe. Hey.
You'll never feel the way I feel. You don't know if my love is real. Baby, listen to me, here's the deal. When you're not here, I'm not the same. I'm needing a new chapter, babe. Been stuck here in a bed for days. I've been staring at the telephone, cause when you're gone, I miss your face. Later clock, body talk, there's no need to bring it up. Nothing you say makes it better. Wrecking ball, tear apart, issues left behind, restart. Nothing you say makes it better. Hey, bring it right back to me, baby. No, we've been here before. Give me the real this time, no cap, no lies, it's our encore. Bring it right back to me, baby. I know my heart wants more. Give me the good this time, no cap, no lies, it's our encore. I never wanna give you up. I know we've been through way too much, but I'm confident we'll make it through. I'm here for you, you're not by yourself. Later clock, body talk, there's no need to bring it up. Nothing you say makes it better. Wrecking ball, tear apart, issues left behind, restart. Nothing you say makes it better.